Hey, it's me again, MixMastaPJ with G.I. Joe. I know you just saw this a couple days ago if you were watching GDQ. I'm just hoping this one goes a little bit smoother this time without some technical difficulties and losing my rhythm here. So without further ado, I know Mad Mega's trying to go get something to eat, so I'm not going to make him sit around and wait to start the timer too long. We'll get started here in 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so all of our Joes here have got some different attributes. Duke can jump medium high, which is good enough for Rock and Roll to grab this gun. So we're not going to see Duke again the rest of the game, sadly. He has fulfilled his role already. Give him the medal that he deserves for that. Oh, we forgot a gun. There are some guns here that we got to pick up along the way. Some of them are hidden behind trees. And what they do is allow us to shoot more bullets in the screen at a time. They don't actually increase the amount of damage done, but they increase the surface effectively that we can hit things with. So we'll just try to navigate through here as quick as possible without getting hurt too bad. We dropped the gun, but that's okay. We're at 2A. That's all that matters. And a lot of these things try to bounce us backwards, so you're going to see me take a lot of intentional hits that still bounce me forwards. So we got Snake Eyes here. His attribute that he can do is he can throw grenades really fast and he can jump really high. So super useful against that boss who's vulnerable against the grenades. And look at that, just barely one-cycled enemy just on the edge of the right screen. Rock and Roll sniping him out. Boom, headshot. Nice. All right, so we're now into the Cobra headquarters here inside the Amazon jungle. We got to blow it up, though, because we don't want that base to continue thriving and bringing evil in the world, so we're placing some bombs. Put one down there. We'll put one down here. You can see in the lower right-hand corner it now says 2 out of 2. This level only has 2 bombs to be placed, so we're finished it so fast. We're going to take out our boss here. We're going to just be careful not to fall in this little pit we created by shooting that spot there, and luckily he went down pretty easy for us. All right, and now we got to get out of the Amazon jungle because it's going to blow up soon, right? So we're now planning our escape here. Going to go fight the range viper here at the end of the level. He's got some pretty wild RNG at times that can be kind of punishing, but we'll be able to take care of him. Just matters, it'll just change how fast we take care of him based on how the RNG goes. So got a good bop there so we could damage boost through those posts. Pretty decent level time. Let's hope that he just stays here on the right side of the screen and we can load him up with bullets. Nope, not quite, but the left side's okay. And we take care of Range Viper pretty quickly, and that's it for Mission 1. We are out of the Amazon. And now we're going to be headed to Antarctica, where General Hawk says, Blizzard, you're going to be in charge now. Now you're going to see Blizzard for his only time in the game, which is to switch characters here. I will use Blizzard occasionally other times. If something goes wrong in this run, like I'm about to die, I'll switch to Blizzard real quick so he can die instead, to give him the Purple Heart. Let his family get all the notoriety, all the fame for that, and you know, this Memorial Day weekend here. So we'll switch to Captain Gridiron, who's got stiff arms like Adrian Peterson there, just able to push the guys out of the way. And he's actually really good at taking down machinery too, so that's Captain Gridiron's strength. There's a few bosses in this game that are just really weak to the punch versus the gun. And Captain Gridiron's the strongest of our punchers there, and he takes down this boss with ease. We're going to switch back to the gun here so that we can change to Rock and Roll, because Rock and Roll is going to be fighting the next time that we need him. But first, let's get in this indoor helicopter with the feet dangling right there out the side, kind of crazy. We're going to climb up here and hit the check. There are 3 checks in this headquarters in Antarctica. So we'll just carefully make sure that we mark them appropriately for destruction. Next level's got some very tough little tricks and tricky little jumps that are close to pixel perfect. So we'll be real careful on those. And ready to switch to Blizzard in case we happen to miss one of them. We're going to place these 3 bombs there. We'll take 2 HP from that guy and 1 from this guy to cut that corner and keep our momentum as fast as we can. Go place the last check over here. There's that little box right there by the exit. We're going to pick up that item. That's kind of like a heart container in this game. It'll increase Rock and Roll's max HP. And then we got these buzzbores here. We got to kill all 3 of these guys. Not the greatest pattern so far, but that's okay. That was still pretty quick. We ended up with a 171 on the in-game timer. We'll be happy with that. All right, we got decent health too at Rock and Roll. Wow, this pallet is cranked up really high. To see if when Mad Mega gets back, we can turn it back to something a little more pleasing in the eyes. Well, not the best jump, but we didn't die, so that's good. All right, we'll take this guy out here and give him a body massage. Half bullets, half punches. Oh no, Rock and Roll is dead. So what happened there that was a little bit tricky for us is that Rock and Roll, he got some iframes by getting hit by one of those rocks. And so instead of getting pushed backwards like we wanted him to, the enemy jumped right into him there, which made things a little bit difficult, but that's all right. We'll get some guns back here for rock and roll in a sec because we got an auto scroller. We're going to try and pick some up. And in the meantime, while we're scrolling, I'm going to change this palette to something a little more palatable. Oh, maybe not. Maybe that's not palatable. There we go. That's more palatable. Oh my goodness. Our eyes feel so much better now. This looks like the G.I. Joe that everybody else has played before. Look, now, don't get me wrong. I'm a guy who loves to play around on his stream. I have a channel points reward to change the NES palette on his RGB modded NES. But I totally understand in the process of moving things around back and forth from the hotel room down to the practice room and such, sometimes that little toggle switch in the back gets moved and we end up with things looking a little bit different. But this is far easier on the eyes. All right, now rock and roll by the result of him dying there in 2-3, he did lose his gun level. It went down from 3A all the way down to 2B. So we're going to try and get it back up. We're going to try and get his gun level back up to max power. The man with the name you love to touch. All right. Get all the items here. Punch all these guys. Boop, boop, boop. Throw some grenades. Try to help our RNG. All right, 2B is all we got. 2B or not 2B. That is our gun level. All right, so let's take this guy out. Didn't quite one cycle him, but that's all right. 2 cycling's fine. And we'll just try and pick up a few extra guns here for our boy. I am going to stay in rock and roll here. Normally I would switch to Captain Gridiron here for a lot of these pickups. But just because I want to make sure that we get all the guns that we can for rock and roll here before going into the next level. Ooh, free fall. That's fine. So far, so good. We lost a few seconds there in the process of picking up those guns. We want to make sure we leave here at least with 3B. Right now our gun level is at 2D, so that's 3 pickups away. That's not too bad at all. We can manage that pretty easily. All right, so we'll go here. We got 5 check marks this level here. That's 2 more than last time. They're going to keep increasing and have more and more to place. So we're done 2 out of 5 right now. And we really want to keep all 3 HP on this vehicle as long as we can because there are a couple places where it just makes a lot more sense to damage boost. We'll grab this gun up here and dodge that boomerang. That's not a boomerang I typically have to look out for, but because I was getting that gun, it's a little bit out of the way and changes the rhythm of how we typically approach this level. All right, and there's a couple more. We're at 3A now. We don't even have to worry about these. I actually think I'm going to leave them alone. Oh yeah, I want to be at 3B. There we go. 3B. Go down. There we go. We're going to try and despawn this blue and orange ninja you see right up there. We're going to jump down here, and hopefully he went away, and he did. We put just enough sprites on the screen that G.I. Joe was just like, no more. Please no. All right, 4 out of 5 check marks now placed. 1 more bomb. 1 more damage boost placed here through this ninja. That's fine. Get that. All right, so far so good. And now all the bombs are placed and we can go get out of here. Before I do that, I'm going to switch to Captain Gridiron because he's going to punch this robot up here if we can get it right. Try and stop all the downloading. So we'll switch here to Gridiron. I'm actually going to get out of here early so I can change to punch, and then we'll try to punch this robot right in the eye. And it worked out perfectly. We'll take an intentional death to avoid the rest of the cutscene. It'll be really fast. Go back to Snake Eyes here. This is the part that you guys missed. You guys didn't get to see the level getting played like that because of the technical difficulties during GDQ. So I'm glad I got to show it off here, and it worked out correctly so far. Now let's just make sure our 3-3 looks as good too. Nailed all our jumps there. We got to switch back here to rock and roll to get him this next gun upgrade. And he'll need 1 more gun upgrade, and then we're good to go for the level. There we go. He has got max power again. Well, max power for the first time. He didn't have it before, but he does now. And hopefully this boss fight goes a little bit cleaner for him than the last one did. We'll switch back to him here right for this boss fight. Get real close to the tank and load it up. And then we'll get all the way over here to the right, or over here to the left side rather, so we can chase him back to the right and take him out. And that's level 3. We're now done our New York mission that Snake Eyes was leading. We're off to North Dakota, to the Black Hills, where Captain Gridiron's leading this mission for us. He's going to bring along Snake Eyes and Rock and Roll. Now, normally you'd be like, you're jumping. Why aren't you Snake Eyes? I actually used Captain Gridiron here at the beginning of the level because his maximum jump is right around the height that we want to jump anyway. We don't want to jump too high because then we got to wait for him to land, right? You notice how Snake Eyes is like we have a release A little bit there right before, right after we complete the height that we want. And we have to wait for the landing to take place. So Captain Gridiron's actually a little bit more useful for us there at the beginning of the level. This crazy vehicle, I don't know what it's called, but it jumps really, really high and it goes really slow left to right. So it's perfect for this level, not so much for other levels, but made short work of that boss. And we're going to stay as Snake Eyes through here because this level is another Cobra HQ. This time 6 bombs to place. And very vertical in nature, which is what Snake Eyes specializes in. Also, we have one of the strongest bosses in the game at the end of this level. What we're going to do with him is make sure that we escort Rock and Roll up there to the end with as much health as possible to really just hopefully take out Road Pig without losing too much health, because we're going to need a Rock and Roll again for the last level. He goes up through here. We needed Rock and Roll to shoot through these barriers, so this part of the stage is where we use Rock and Roll. We are going to take an intentional hit here, just because it's a little bit faster to do that rather than try and stay up there and shoot him first. And then we'll switch back to our loyal ninja Snake Eyes. And we'll try to one-cycle all these fire bars. Get to this check here, half of them down, 3 to go. The other 3 are all on the right side here, and from the bottom all the way to the top. So we're going to go up to the upper right of the map now. That's where the exit is. So we've got a lot of climbing to do. No one better to do all that climbing than Snake Eyes. He's got mad ups. Look at that. Made short work of that section. Every other character you control would need to use one of those platforms at a time, but he's, like I said, got a jump ability strong enough that he can clear 2 of those platforms at once. So really important character to keep alive for this mission. And this last climbing section here, now that we've got all the bombs placed, just to get to the exit door, to go fight Road Pig. Little double swing. Oh, man, that was tough. That's okay. Snake Eyes making short work of that, making that a minimal time loss. And then we're going to get one swing in here, and hopefully that rock bops us over to the right, which it does. Oh, switch to Rock and Roll, get some gunshots in there on him, and you can see each of those hits from Road Pig does 4 HP of damage. I'm going to scale back here and take the rock hit instead. There we go. Phew, that would have been devastating to lose Rock and Roll right there. So glad we took the safe route. Rock and Roll now with 6 HP, which is going to be great for this boss fight. And another altitude level. Snake Eyes is good, but a helicopter is even better. So that's how we're going to fly up here. Just cruising on up. Making short work of this level, as you can see. We don't need any of the gun upgrades or any of the health there. We're just going to take Rock and Roll right to the boss. Escort him right here. Oop, there's a fire bar coming. That's not going to be good. There we go. Fire bars like that deal 3 damage. We had 3 health. That would have been devastating. So had to switch to Captain Gridiron for him to absorb that one. He was our tank. Speaking of that, he's back again. This time Rock and Roll's leading our mission. This time it's to the Sahara. We blew up the HQ in South Dakota, or North Dakota, wherever the Black Hills are. I was always more of a where in time is Carmen Sandiego, or where in the world is Carmen Sandiego, not so much where in the USA is Carmen Sandiego kind of guy. That's all right. Taking out this helicopter here. It's a pretty straightforward level. The guys who are flying in or running at you from the right side of the screen, they have much less HP than the guys who are like buried in the sand who start jumping. Like these guys, they require 2 shots of your max power gun. Well, the other guys do not require much at all. This is a pretty fast level, though. Next thing that we try to do is lure this boss over here as far to the left as we can, because there's 3 phases. We just took out the first one. We're in the middle of phase 2 right now. Phase 3 has us trying to shoot the driver. If you get too far to the right, the driver goes off the screen and you can't shoot him. So it takes up a lot more time waiting for him to come back. But that's all right. Now we're into our Cobra HQ here. 7 bombs to place now. As you can see here, they're getting a little more complicated. Some secret walls and stuff that we got to navigate through too. Fun fact about this game, it's developed by Taxon. If you played any other Taxon games on the NES, they are famous for creating 2nd and 3rd quests to their games that are much harder than the first one. This is no different. In the 2nd quest of this game, when you're done beating it, you have to beat the whole game again, except instead of having 3 Joes, you only have 2. And they move all these check marks around. Sometimes they even put them in these like hidden areas behind walls and stuff. So they really make the second and third quest pretty tricky. The third quest especially, they give you 2 Joes still for the third quest, but all the enemies do double damage. So if you're interested in playing those, that's a world record waiting to be had. No one has submitted a second or third quest time. We're submitting first, second, and third all in the same run to speedrun.com. So if you're looking at G.I. Joe, like, man, I wish I had world record. Well, I promise you that will take you a lot of work. Toad and Tarbash have done plenty more work in this game than even I'm capable of for the first quest. But the second and third are all there waiting for you. Come at it. We're happy to have you. So take a couple intentional hits here coming up just to try and get through a real crowded part. Sometimes there's a bulletproof vest drop that'll happen. It'll make our character invincible for a little while. I'm hoping we get one of those, but if not, then we'll have to tough it out. But you get those iframes there from that first bullet to let us dash through those next 2 enemies. We're going to do the same thing here on the way back, if that's what presents itself here. We'll just go through this turret here. Oh, no. All right, it worked out. We didn't even have to take the damage, so we can be a little more aggressive up here. I'm actually going to stop using my weapon for a little bit. Like I said before, this game is all about sprite management, so typically speaking, the more sprites on the screen, the slower the game goes. So by not having my weapon open the whole time, that kind of does reduce some of the sprites that we're worried about there and keep the game running a little bit quicker for us. That's fine. All right, this boss here, this is kind of an auto-scroller. There's a big snake up here, and in order to try and prepare ourselves to fight the snake, we're going to get up here and kind of serpentine our way through this this base, so that way it's less likely for us to fall to our death there at the bottom of the screen. But the snake in particular is very vulnerable to Captain Gridiron's fists, so we're going to try and get up right here, switch to Gridiron so he can punch the snake in the face. No one tell PETA. All right, don't tell PETA. That's okay. Between us, it's fine. All right. Speaking of punching things in the face, Gridiron's going to punch everything in the face in this level. All right. He is the man. He's going to punch everybody and just all the machines, all the people, all the guys with boomerangs, all the snipers here, and then he's going to damage booster here, get bop forward. 2 hits, 1 hit, perfect. Sadly, I was missing Gridiron during my GDQ run, so I'm happy he's here now to show himself off, all of his skills. Just threading the needle here through that little gap. Oh, that guy's so fast! Nope, we were ready for him. Even though that rogue bullet, that was some rough RNG there at the end, that was still a pretty good level, all things considered. All right, now we got to take out Destro. If you're familiar with the G.I. Joe lore, he is like the second in command. He is the Shredder to the Krang of Ninja Turtles, right? Like, this is the same thing. Destro to Cobra Commander. He is right there, the right-hand man. We're going to try and take an intentional death here with Rock and Roll for multiple reasons. I wish I had done it sooner, but that's okay. We'll take the death here. That'll work out just fine. We did that after we got the kill because it cut the cutscene a little bit short, but it also did something else really nice, and I'm going to explain in just a moment. So this level is the last level of the game. We are now at the headquarters of Cobra Base. Location unknown, but General Hawk is now with us again, and he's now leading us on this mission. He's got a jetpack, he can fly, he's got an incredible amount of health. You know what he's got? He's got some explaining to do. We could have been using him this whole game. That would have been super nice. Instead, we've been stuck with all these Joes who are mediocre in a lot of other traits. So where you been, slacker? Anyhow, we got General Hawk there. Now, you notice that I just took 2 grenades to the face. Actually, the back of the head. One to the face and one to the back of the head with Rock and Roll. By taking that intentional death, I reset his max HP down to 9, which was the crappiest in the game at the beginning. Right? He only had 9 HP to start out with. We picked up some heart containers along the way, but that's what we got now. And the reason why I did that is taking those 2 grenades to the face, subtract 4 HP both, now he's got 1 HP. This map, with its 8 bombs to be placed, is so large that we are going to place all 8 of them, and we're going to be so far away from the exit once the last bomb gets placed that it's faster for us to then take a quick intentional death and then go back to the beginning of the level and just walk to the exit. Now, there are no pits. How am I going to warp back to the beginning of this level? Well, I need somebody to die, and that's where Rock and Roll comes in. Him and his 9 HP being not very much there, going to make him really, really easy to die for this intentional death that we're going to have a little bit from now. So we had him take those 8 HP damage at the beginning, so he's down to 1 HP now, so 1 more hit will simply knock him out. So we're going to simply just run around here and place all these bombs with Jetpack Man, General Hawk, lazy bum. Grab some safety HP boost here. some heart containers just for the end. Cobra Commander is actually a really, really brutal boss. In a PB attempt here, or a world record attempt, we'd be fighting him with gun level 2A most of the time. We'd save about 10 to 15 seconds by not getting any of these extra gun upgrades. But the boss fight would take about 4 to 5 seconds longer, and it'd just be far riskier. We don't want to try that here while we're recording and showing off the game to you guys, but if you ever want to check out my stream or somebody who's better than me at the game, that's what they're going to be doing a little bit differently here in this last level. So we're done 7 to 8. We got one more bomb to place, and then we are off to the exit. So we'll take an intentional hit here to dash through the grenade man. The grenade guy, he does 4 HP of damage instead of the typical 1 that most of the other guys do. So just got to be careful not to take too much of him unless you want to, like we did with rock and roll at the beginning. Get another little HP boost here. So far, so good. One more heart container little thing down here to grab. And you can see how much health General Hawk has. It's off to the edge of the screen. There's like nothing else there for him. So maxed out. And we're not going to touch this guy or shoot him because he's going to be our doorway back to the beginning of the level. Thank you, Rock and Roll, for your service. All right, back to General Hawk. He needs 3 guns for max power. Well, one of them's right down here. Max power, the man with the name you love to touch. All right. So we were almost to the exit here. Got to take out a couple of these turret guys. And we got 2 more guns to grab for max power. He's at 3C now. Now 3D and max. So we are maxed out here. It means we're now shooting 5 of those crazy cloud-looking bullets, which do a whole lot of damage as well. Like I said, what a bum. Best gun, best jetpack, best health bar. Where's he been? He was just 2 days away from retirement. All right, let's go. Let's see what we got here. We don't want to bump our head on that platform. That does 4 HP. Hitting those little sparks at the beginning where it looked like I just kind of tripped over them, that only does 1 HP. And it lets me iframe up to a nice close position here. Time! Right there. He is down. Can we turn into a lizard? Come on, turn me into oh, he's shot downward. I was hoping to get turned into a lizard. Photosensitivity warning. Sorry it was so late. Boom! There it is. That's the Cobra headquarters base. That is G.I. Joe in 2144 with a rock and roll death on 2-3. Still a sub 22. Look, he had iframes. He was trying to give a body massage, and it just didn't work out. What am I gonna say? But yeah, but that's G.I. Joe, guys. It's a lot more fun when it goes right, huh? Glad you guys get to see it here. I know you saw it on GDQ and get to see some wonderful interruptions and plenty of deaths and repeats there. But this was a whole lot smoother this time. Hope you guys really enjoyed the game, and hope you give it a shot. It's a lot of fun. Not a lot of action on the leaderboard since Big 20 ended a few months ago, so give it a playthrough, and like I said, free world record if you want to beat second quest or third quest. So they're there waiting for you guys. Thanks so much. Go Joe.